Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. Hope everyone's doing good. It's been a few days since I've posted a video, but I've been recording some, and they're going to be coming. There's going to be some new shows coming your way very soon. So very excited. I have been making my way slowly through the my recent purchases that I got. There was a big sale at Opera House Video, which is the only technically mom and pop place in the entire state here in Maine, where you can buy movies, but first and foremost rent movies. You can rent DVDs. They even have VHS, which is crazy, Blu-rays, and tons of all kinds of TV shows. So they do these big sales every it seems like twice a year or so, where they have this huge inventory of movies. So they sell off a lot of the movies, and then they get the profits directly. And it's amazing. And I have gotten so many great movies. And then I also went up to Bull Moose fairly recently, and I'll be going up there next week. So I've been pretty inundated with buying lots of cool movies and a lot of movies I've never seen before. So today's show is on a movie. I'm back on the exploitation trip. I got this really amazing DVD movie collection about 2 weeks ago, and it's was put out by Something Weird Video. This is amazing. I just did a show. Well, I did a show last week. I haven't uploaded it yet, but it will be done within a day or two. It's all recorded, and this compilation is so awesome. These are super old school exploitation movies, definitely in the horror genre, but I just love these movies so much. They're just so damn entertaining. And the first movie that I did a show on, which will be again, like I said, I'll be posting it really soon, is on Swamp Girl. Today's show is going to be on Swamp Country, which again is it's amazing. Like, it's one of those movies that, like, it's it's so bad it's good. Like, I definitely believe, that term is used a lot, for B movies, exploitation movies, where something is so terrible or so bad that, because it's in that extreme or at that extremity, it can actually work. And it's always an interesting weird balance with that, because today, what I've seen a lot in today's age is, like, I've seen some movies that I were that I was very let down to, that I was very let down by, and I felt like some very bad decisions made. And so, well, like, two examples of modern horror movies that I've seen fairly recently. I think it was actually the last movie I saw in the theater, The First Omen, which was supposed to be the origin story about Damien and him, his how his how he came to be, and his the origin story about his mother. And this movie was really talked a lot about and really hyped, and it made a lot of money in the movies, in the box office. And I saw it in the theater, and it had a lot of great attributes to it. Very cool. But then I felt it got to this point, by the second and especially the third act, it got really, well, just ridiculous. I felt like there were some bad decisions with the writing and the direction, and I thought the ending was especially bad, because they really made this, like, totally obvious decision to lend itself to make more movies with this one movie, which in the world of common sense makes absolutely no sense. And you can tell that the studio is just trying to open up this thing just to try to make more money, when there's clearly nothing to that could follow that. And it was very disappointing. It was very, the movie has some really great attributes, and it's kind of a shocking movie at times. It's very well directed in a lot of ways. The atmosphere, especially the first half or the first act of the movie, is really great. But then it just has this tacked on studio, big budget Hollywood studio thing that was just a big letdown. And I think it was just a bad decision. And it was the case of like I said, sometimes you have something that's so bad it's good. In this case, the ending was so bad that it, for me, ruined the experience. Another movie that followed pretty much the same exact course, literally, is the Voyage of the Last Demeter. That came out last year. I saw that in the theater about almost a year ago, August of last year. And that story is basically based on a couple of pages, or I guess more or less a chapter in Bram Stoker's Dracula, about Dracula's journey to London from Transylvania. And the voyage of the last Demeter is the boat that he traveled on. And the same, I felt like that movie had so many cool things about it, so many interesting things, very well done, very well acted in a lot of ways. But then it just had this horrible ending, and this I felt like, do do the studios really think people are just really dumb? In a case, it was so bad that it ruined the experience. But in the case of Swamp Country, it is so bad and terrible, but it's fantastic. It's that fine line, where there's a sense of humor in in both of these movies, but especially Swamp Country. Great music, great aesthetic, and the thing that I am blown away by with this movie, and again, both of these movies, and Swamp Country especially, was probably shot for, I don't know, $30. And these other movies that I just mentioned are obviously very big budget Hollywood movies. So, of course, it's a different universe. But I just find it hilarious that a movie like this, for all intents and purposes, I find to be way more entertaining and way more enjoyable. And, these exploitation movies bring me back to the source of what the job is of a movie. Like, why do we, as people, why do we watch movies? Why do we go see them in the theater, or rent them, or stream them, or collect them? Why do we take the time out of our schedules to sit and watch a movie that takes up our time? And I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about pure, healthy escapism, and leaving the day behind, or the night behind, whether you've had a good day or a bad day, or it's just a mundane day, and just getting out of the ordinary and escaping into like a playground, or going to an amusement park. And I feel like with these exploitation movies, as crappy as they are, at face value, they are so direct in that service to the people. And they're just fun. I just feel like so many times, and I've talked about this a lot, so many times, so many movies that I see, there's a lot of great films that have come out. I'm not gonna knock all the new movies that come out. There are some, but honestly, I've been very disappointed with them. But the thing that I see time and time again with so many of these Hollywood movies is that they're just, and again, even with movies that I really like, and movies that I find myself really enjoying, is that they're just so goddamn serious. They just take themselves so serious. And I know, like, say, in the context of maybe that particular story, or what is being kind of expressed in that movie, of course you can't take, you can't, like, throw in some kind of whimsical humor into the storyline. Recently, we went to the theater and saw Evil Does Not Exist, which is an amazing movie. An amazing movie. It's this Japanese movie. It's a very quiet, very meditative, Very interesting, kind of a strange movie at times, but really beautiful. But it's very quiet and it is very serious. And and again, like that's an example of obviously a very personal experience when you watch that movie. It's not going to be something obviously it's not you know a goofy or to insert some kind of comedic aspect to that story probably wouldn't work because of the world that was created or is being created to tell this kind of more serious contemplative meditative story. Of course, you know, but overall I get that from movies that I see today, movies that I really like. That for Evil Does Not Exist as an example, but then even the other movies I just talked about, The First Omen or the Last Voyage of the Demeter, very diverse for different movies, but they're all just so damn serious. Everything is supposed to be like really heavy and intense, and like you're supposed to take everything literal, and it's like, and the thing that I love, and to me that is so refreshing about watching exploitation movies, case in point, Swamp Country, is that it's absurd. It's fun. It's trashy. It's sleazy. It can be shocking. Uh, it can deal with taboos, social taboos or sexual taboos that people don't really want to talk about. Dark taboos. But there's always this sense of, let's have some fun. Let's step back and not like let's loosen up, let's unbutton our collar a little bit and let's have some fun. And I feel like that is the thing that is missing from about 99% of the movies that are coming out. And that's the reason that and also the rawness. I miss even the movies that I saw that I mentioned. They're great. Or the one being that was really great was Evil Does Not Exist. Granted, very different kind of a world that you're traveling to when you see that movie. But a lot of other movies that I've seen, I feel like everything is like clean, or it's a little bit, it looks a little too good. It's a little bit too polished up. It's a little bit, there's no warts, there's no kind of messy aspects to it. It's not dirty enough. And I think with like exploitation movies, it's so raw. It's a raw experience, and I love that because it was shot for $30. They're just going for it. They're wearing their passion. The filmmakers, the director, it's a passion project. They're wearing their heart on their sleeves, and they're just going for it. And I just love that. I love that. I love the rawness of it. There's not the luxury of having a budget that is for like $1 billion and they can do 90 takes of one or two scenes. This movie, they're just going for it. I talked about that before. I was on a podcast last year being interviewed for this channel, and I said, yeah, it's like the reason I love exploitation movies so much is it's the rawness. It's like putting on a punk rock album. You're just going for it. Warts and all. And you just can't beat it. That's why I always gravitate towards these movies. As ridiculous as they are, they're just so damn entertaining. So, yeah. And the other thing that I just realized when I watched Swamp Country last night, and I did not until today, actually, this morning, I realized that this movie came out in 1966, which is just crazy. This movie is about this guy who is being accused of killing these women, and he goes on the run, and it's great. And it actually the music is fantastic. It's actually really well shot. It's all shot in like I think down south in Louisiana in the swamps, and there's like live alligators, and it's super ridiculous and hilarious, but it's awesome, and it actually has a really cool kind of plot reveal where when they finally reveal who the killer is, who's killing these people, it's I was totally surprised. I was actually totally surprised, and I did not see it coming. And I was like, wow, that's great. That's fantastic. Fantastic movie. This collection is super awesome. It's a DVD, but the quality is awesome. There's some trail. There's not really special features on here, but there's some trailers. There's not any commentary, but this was awesome, and it was put out by Something Weird Video, which is, and I think they still exist, but they were that was a company that David Freeman, I believe, was really involved or started, and he worked with the notorious Herschel Gordon Lewis, produced all of his movies, and got was also a director himself. And he did all kinds of exploitation movies, sex exploitation movies, and all kinds of things, all kinds of wacky movies. And I believe he was involved with this company. But this is awesome. I have something weird video editions, but they're on Blu-ray. But this is the only one I think I have. I might have a couple on DVD. But this movie rocks. Both of these movies are awesome. But Swamp Country, just so fun, so damn fun. So this is Jason Dean, and we will see you next time. Peace.